Although I will get to the subject of free will, this video is sort of a contrivance. I ran across a website. I ended up being the first subscriber to. It's a girl named Kim. She's called Existentialist Cat, and I'll post the link. Um, Really smart girl and really pretty, and depressing. You know, 18 years old. Somebody's gonna get lucky. But anyway, um, you really should listen to her videos. She's only got a couple up there, but really articulate and smart. And so if you like your philosophy soft and gentle, that's the website to go to. The channel. Anyway, so on the general subject of free will, I've made a lot of videos where this subject's been talked about. I guess we just never use the word free will. We're always talking about whether there's any I inside a brain, whether we really exist. It's just programming. It's just a brain. There's no controlling feature beyond this programming. This, what you're exposed to and how you've through this mechanism changed or altered or perceived or manipulated, or however that exposure, that information, that life experience. And so there's no free will. I mean, we really don't have, we can't generate something that wasn't inevitable, that wasn't predestined. Okay, we can only we can only do what we have been, the course that we have been placed on. But from a practical perceptual point of view, there's no distinction. I mean, it is free will from our conscious perspective. We can't see it any other way, because the whole mechanisms, the whole way the brain functions and how it views the world is too kinetic. It's right now. It happens at the moment, and we don't see any of the billions of years that led to that moment, and so there's just no we have no perspective to see it any other way but as free will. Now, to the point of responsibility, now whether you can have responsibility in a world where where people don't have control, quote unquote, over their behavior, and that they were predestined to do what they do. There's still the question that has to be dealt with, is the fact that we are logical machines. We are computers, essentially. And if a computer is so dysfunctional where it cannot distinguish the obvious rights from the obvious wrongs, it's a broken computer. It's profoundly broken. And we shouldn't just say, oh, that's okay, we'll just let it be broken. We'll just coexist with colossal brokenness. That would be stupid. And so obviously, there's no denying that deterrence works on other computers. I mean, other humans walking around see that crime doesn't pay, they won't commit crime as often. But the idea of, so certainly punishment as a deterrent makes sense. Punishment in the eye for an eye kind of vengeance way is bullshit. I mean, I've been arguing that for a long time. I mean, it's like I'm for the death penalty, but not for it if the purpose of it is punishment. Okay, because it's not a deterrent, and so once you eliminate it as a deterrent, its use as a deterrent, then you're just being punitive. Then you're just doing the eye for an eye thing, and the eye for an eye thing just gets everybody blind in the end. It's just no point in going there. It's not about revenge. It's not about. There's just no profit, even in creating pain, in somebody who inflicts pain. There's just no profit in it. There's no profit in them standing on the gallows reflecting on what a bad person they were. There's no point in educating people before you're going to kill them. Just what's the point in it? And so to teach them a lesson, or to make them this, or to make them feel this, or do that, I mean, it's there's just no profit in it. We cannot possibly gain anything. The universe gains nothing by creating that extra ball of suffering that has absolutely no use. It's pointless. And so, beyond having a practical purpose, all punishment in the penal system is pointless. It's idiotic. It's stupid. It's unproductive. It's sadistic. It's evil-minded. It's broken logic. And that's the key point. It's just not, there's no sense to this. You cannot add up the circumstantial facts and make them justify such behavior, because the behavior is purely emotional. It is not reasonable. It is not logical. It is not knowledge-based. And so let's just get over this whole notion of punishing crime and stay completely and entirely focused on preventing it. That's the real magic. That's the place where you can gain something. That's where you can make some productivity. But you can't make it by making the punishment worse. You can't, beyond, like I said, having a deterrent effect. And deterrence in most cases isn't going to work anyway, because you're talking about broken people. Like I say, these are broken computers. And so they can't, you're saying, well, here, look, they haven't even gotten this common sense principle right, and yet they're going to understand deterrence. That they can get right. They can't figure out, not to kill somebody to steal $5, but they're going to be able to figure out that, oh, my actions have consequences, and I might get caught, I might have to go to prison, and they might execute me, and they're going to do all that elaborate thinking, but they can't even figure out that they wouldn't want their own mother slaughtered in the street for $5. So, let's be a little logical. We can still take responsibility for how well our programming works, how well our computer works. Even if we have no free will, there's no excuse for being obviously broken. And people, you're obviously broken when you're acting on your selfish whims, when you're contriving excuses for your behavior. You're committing a bit of broken logic. You're breaking the rules, and that can really be understood. And like I say, these basic ethics, the basic ethics that make for civilized society, there's really no excuse for not being able to obey those. And to say the person doesn't have responsibility, bullshit. They might not have free will, but the machine can function. And if it can't do that basic little bit of stuff, then this doesn't have any business existing. There's a point where we got to say, look, we either rehabilitate it, we either reprogram it, or we get rid of it. But there's no point in investing in brokenness. There's so many people who die for no good reason. Lack of a vitamin, lack of this, lack of that. And here we invest, resources in people who aren't worth the trouble. As a society, why let's just, like I said, we can be punitive. We can exact a punishment in the sense that we can say, look, you're just not worth the social cost. And we can eliminate people or do whatever we have to do. Like I said, we either reprogram them seriously, or let's just humanely put them out. But either way, we have a right as people to live in a civilized world. And it's just stupid to think that, we have to understand or accept behavior that crosses the obvious lines. There are obvious lines, and then there's the bullshit lines. And we all know the difference. We all know the ones that are based on bullshit dogma and taboos and tradition, and the ones that are based on common, simple sense, not common sense, simple sense. This ABCs of living. So, time's up.